A rare Monday Night of Hoops here on the ISC Sports Network, and two programs that have been synonymous with success over the years in terms of 3A basketball. As you can tell by the record, bit of a reload this year for Northwestern. Chatard 4-3, playing a rugged schedule, trying to make at least the semi-state round for a third consecutive season. Thanks for joining us from Broad Ripple here on the ISC Sports Network, alongside Bobby Meslam, Greg Rakestraw with you. Let's start with this Chatard team, Coach. 4-3 on the season, had a huge win on Friday night in Circle City Conference play against Heritage Christian. Your thoughts as to what you expect from Dan Wagner's team tonight?
Well, Greg, they're riding a two-game winning streak, and as you mentioned, they've played a pretty tough schedule for 3A. They're kind of rounding back into shape. They're developing some chemistry because they lost two of their top three scorers from last year, and then they have a couple players coming off injury. So I would look to see them to get better as the season progresses, but lately they've started to put it together.
This is a team that doesn't really care what their regular season record is. Not saying they don't want to win, but last year they were under 500 and they reached the semi-state. They also won a lot of tough games against familiar foes. In their three sectional wins, they won by a combined 7 points, and the games took 3 overtimes to play. In other words, they can win a tough game. They picked up this Northwestern school last year on the tail end of the Layton dynasty. The last 7 years, this program won north of 150 games. The Layton sisters both now play at Purdue. Kendall Bostic plays at the University of Illinois. There is not that level of talent on this team. This Northwestern team is struggling at 2-8. Just observations as to what you've seen on paper from the Northwestern Tigers so far.
Well, the last time I saw a Northwestern team was in the state finals in 2020.
You had the best view in the house.
Yeah, so this is a far cry from that ball club. And yes, they are very young. They're not very experienced. And Coach Gatlin's in her first year, and it's going to probably take some time to put it together. But they had one of the most phenomenal runs in Indiana high school basketball history. I think they had won back-to-back state and then runner-up, and then those kids that you just mentioned, now they're all playing major roles in D1 Power Conference 5 universities. So they'll get back. They'll get back.
2018-2019 3A champs, these Northwestern Tigers. Again, the runner-up finish in 2020. And simply put, one of the best state championships I've ever seen in any sport. The high level of play between Lawrence North and Northwestern on that Saturday night in late February at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We will take this quick timeout when we come back. Starting lineups, opening tip-off from Bishop Chatard High School. Chatard hosting Northwestern. It's yours next on the ISC Sports Network. Calling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left.
Same players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it.
That's the finish. You get a layup to take it. And an and one.
Fly ball. Out of here.
And with that, our national anthem concluded for the evening. Time now for our starting lineups. First, let's get to the Tigers of Northwestern. Anna Bishop is their leading scorer on the season. She is a 5'7" junior, just shy of 12 points per game. Their other 4 starters, Lexi Hale, Berkeley Ray, Haley Cutter, and Tessa Ortman. Again, points have been at a premium for Northwestern. They're averaging 34 points a contest. In their 2 wins, they have scored north of 60. In their 8 losses, they have been held to 33 points or less. Northwestern, they have been the best team in their league for some time. However, that's a really good league. Some of their losses, some of the best teams in 3A. Benton Central was the latest. Hamilton Heights just before that. Again, for a young team with just 1 senior, significant playing time for the Tiger. For Dan Wagner's Bishop Chatard Trojans, their leading scorer is Olivia Burzai. She is just a sophomore, 11 points a game. Anna Caskey is averaging a double-double. Her future is in softball. She will head to Belmont University in Nashville a couple of years from now. But of note on this Chatard lineup, just 1 senior starter in Addison Duncan had 6 points a game. Other thing that caught my attention, Bob, was the fact that not exactly a great shooting team, but a phenomenal rebounding team. And I rarely reference the number of rebounds a team gets in a game, but they're picking up 34 boards in a 32-minute contest on an average basis.
Well, they have some length, they have some athleticism, they have several girls that are multi-sport athletes, which helps with their rebounding, it helps with their defense, and ultimately helps with their transition. And they like to get up and down the court and trap.
You got some keys for us. What are you thinking about, Coach?
Well, we got transition points. Chatard likes to get up and down. Northwest is more of a half-court team. Who's going to win the turnover battle? Chatard right now has 18 turnovers a game, and Northwest is 22. That's a lot. You know, you try to stay around 10, 12 or so. And in teamwork, Chatard, 11 assists a game, and Northwest, 8 assists a game. So that tells me girls are going one-on-one or they're getting fast breaks, but we'll see who can move the ball the best.
In the center circle for Chatard, Olivia Burzai. She was jumping against Northwestern's Lexi Hale. That ball tipped it. I was going to overhop and get it and let you do play-by-play, but clearly they're used to that here because somebody just high-jumped the stage to go track it down.
Yeah, we've played here before, and it's cozy.
This is, we get the stage experience when we do games at the Eel Tank in Eminence, but if you know all the deanery schools in Indianapolis, all the gyms were built at about the same time, late 60s, early 70s, all have a stage at the end. Only place that has changed is Roncalli. Because Roncalli obviously has a new facility over the course of the last 3 years. Shot taken and missed by Northwestern.
This is very similar to the old Roncalli gym.
Correct. Roncalli, Ritter, Cecina, all of them look just like this one. Full court 2-2-1 pressure. Again, Chatard will attack that and score easily. And frankly, I'm not sure Chatard's team you want to speed up. They want to play a faster tempo.
No, and this 1-2-2 press, I'll be curious to see how Northwestern handles it. Because look at the length of the point for Chatard.
There's an immediate steal and a layup by the Trojans. Bucket is good for Betsy Tragesser, and Betsy does a little bit of everything. 5 points, 3 boards, and 4 assists a game for Chatard.
Yeah, Coach said eventually she could be one of the best point guards to come out of Chatard.
Another steal. Shot off the window does not go. Burzai finds Caskey, and Caskey finds a bucket. Had a chance to go to Anna's dad, Mike. Mike and I have been friends longer than Anna's been on this earth. Mike's one of the all-time good dudes. Great to see him before tonight's game. Another steal by Chatard, and quickly this game is tilting in favor of the Trojans, even though Burzai could not hit the look at the rim. Off the window, shot does not go. Again,
well, Caskey with another rebound. She's averaging a double-double, Greg.
Off the window, shot does not go, but running the floor, again, put back, second time for Kendall, does not go, and eventually Northwestern out of there with it. Look at the shooting numbers for Chatard are not great. Good job by Hale to track that one down. Hale averaging 8 points, 8 rebounds, nearly 3 steals a game. Chatard as a team just 36% from the floor. But again, when you rebound the way that they do, you will find a way to win some games. Caskey low block and late whistle, but Caskey will shoot 2.
Well, you reference their low field goal percentage. Most of the shots they've had this game have been layups, and they've made maybe half of them.
Right.
In high school basketball, if you can, at any level, but especially in high school, the teams that can make their layups typically come out on top.
Caskey on the season, just a 39% free throw shooter. And misses that one wide left. And as a team, Chatard 52% from the line. Chatard made each of the last 2 semi-states, seeing their season come to an end. They made the state championship back in 2008. They've made the semi-state round 4 times since then, but they have to get back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So 3 different Trojans have scored so far. A little more than 2 minutes in. First of 3 games this week here for Chatard.
You notice that Chatard is not really respecting the outside three-point shot of Northwestern. They're packed the paint. They have 3 girls in there right now and a couple chasing on the outside.
Well, there is good reason for that, as this jump shot does not go by Ortman. But Hale, good job to carve out position. She is fouled. So, frankly, Northwestern, not a bad three-point shooting team. 30%, no. You see much worse. But they rarely shoot them. In their first 7 games, they were 12 of 40 from three-point range. They're making less than 2 threes a game. So Caskey commits the foul. She'll sub out immediately. Another turnover committed by Northwestern. And as my partner pointed out, 22 per game through 7 games this year. Jump shot does not go, taken and missed by Duncan. Again, Chatard, not a great three-point shooting team either, but you would call them a volume three-point shooting team. As they make a little less than 5 a game, shoot 31% from the three-point arc.
You notice that Chatard always has at least 1 person in the paint, maybe 2, maybe 3, and they're pressuring the ball. Pretty soon, I'm guessing we're going to have a couple 5-second violations.
Good backdoor cut, and that's going to be a foul. 2 free throws coming up for Anna Bisher. Again, Bisher, the leading scorer for the Tigers, at just under 12 points a game. On the season, Northwestern 70% from the free throw line. Bisher at 67%. Again, last year, this Northwestern team went 17-5 when they returned to 3A after 3 years in 4A last year. They kind of got sent further north in terms of their sectional line, but they lost to Norwell in the sectional championship.
Well, sometimes your success factor works against you, then your lack of success factor comes back and helps you.
A little zone look here by Northwestern. They've scored the last 4 points. Now they'll match up with it. Caskey will check back in. Next dead ball for the Trojans. Good hands by Northwestern. Ripped back away by Burzai. Spot up 3 for Chatard does not go. And let's see if that's going to be foul against Chatard. Let's see how this one is whistled. And this is going to go against Northwestern. Bisher commits the foul.
Wow. It looked like it might have been over the back, but referee Tommy Boyd said she just backed up under her. So we'll go with the foul on Northwestern.
And thankfully, you know who caught that? Buzz Alker, our cameraman. We just showed you the replay right there from our angle up on the stage. Caskey dribbles that off the leg of Hale. She quickly comes back in for McAllister. Usually it is a 9-player rotation for Coach Wagner and Chatard. Might be a little extended tonight. Off the square, Burzai, no. And Hale adding her rebounding totals. Ray, and relatively easy traveling call made there.
Well, Caskey's been pretty active at both ends. I don't know if you mentioned it. She's a Belmont softball commit, but she's very active defensively, and her size gets a lot of rebounds and guards the paint really well.
Burzai off the window, no. And you can tell Chatard's best offense, go get it off the glass. They've been stuck on 6 now for the last 2.5 minutes, have the Trojans.
Well, you can tell the way Chatard's playing defense, over guarding, going for steals. they're a little frustrated they only have 6 points.
And they have forced 5 Northwestern turnovers, but after the first couple possessions, really haven't cashed in off of them. For this young Northwestern team, just hanging around, giving them some confidence. Runner and a foul, and frankly, the best offense for Northwestern right now, go to the free throw line.
Well, they're running a good motion. They're cutting. They're hitting open people. And as I mentioned earlier, Chatard's a little frustrated. They only have 6 points. They've missed some layups. They've missed some free throws, and they're not accustomed to being have 6 points with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Cutter misses from the line. She was 14 of her first 15 from the line this season. Mary Mason will come on. She is a senior, and she and Duncan really the seniors that see a lot of playing time for this Chatard squad, as does Quinn Johnson, just checked in. Johnson, the best three-point shooter at 40% on the year. And a blocking foul going to be called against Northwestern. Johnson, the third leading scorer for Chatard, but she comes off the bench, 8.5 points a game. Hale took the brunt of that one. And Northwestern fell asleep.
Well,
Paskey gets the easy bucket.
They cleared out the lane and let her just roll down the free throw lane to get a wide open layup. It was a good out of bounds play.
And what the first made bucket in 3 minutes does is allows Chatard to set up their full court pressure. Person who's done that since the 6-minute mark. Runner does not go. Shot taken and missed by Bisher. Johnson fires, misses. Who touched it last? Caskey did, out of bounds to Northwestern.
Northwestern's not going to have much of an answer for Caskey on the boards. She gets great position. She uses her body well to shield, and unfortunately she knocked that one out of bounds, but she's probably got 3-4 rebounds already.
1-3-1 this time down, looks like, here for Chatard. And wisely so. That ball was saved. 6 Northwestern turnover. Run the floor, throw it baseline, corner, and 1. Trageser gets the bucket. And obviously, the best offense for this Chatard team is based off their defense.
Yeah, they thrive in transition. As you can see in half court, they've not been able to get very many looks, but their athleticism and their strength and their physicality will allow them to get up and down the court. They should get some easy baskets here against Northwestern.
And Trageser's free throw does not hit a thing. She is 4 of 12, now 4 of 13 from the line this season. There may not be many free throw contests won tonight's game. 2 of 9.
You look at Chatard, you got, Duncan's a 4-time All-City soccer player. You got Caskey, who's a softball commit. You got other people that played soccer as well.
7th Northwestern turnover. Johnson lost the handle. Somehow got it back, and you reference other sports. Well, this has turned into a rugby scrum this time down the floor. Out of bounds, it'll be Chatard ball.
I'm guessing the more physical game it is, the more favors Chatard.
And these two teams played last year. Northwestern won handily. Coach Wagner talked about how great of an experience it was for his team to play a school of that level. Trageser on the assist from Duncan. You referenced the quality of soccer player in terms of Duncan and the steps called. Chatard, Brebeuf, and Guerin Catholic, which are all in the basketball section over here too, along with fellow Circle City Conference rival in terms of Heritage Christian. But I referenced those 3 schools that are part of the Catholic branch, if you will, of the Circle City Conference. Those schools were all 1, 2, 3 in the state in 2A soccer heading into that sectional. It's won by Guerin Catholic. Just 1 field goal so far for the Tigers. 2 6-0 runs by Chatard. Johnson, and that'll be a blocking foul on Hale, which will be her 2nd foul. 6th whistle against Northwestern.
Quinn Johnson has been very active defensively. She has drawn 2 blocks, and in my opinion, either one could, or both could have been a charge. But she plays very physical.
So Hale 2, Bisher 2 in terms of fouls. Johnson line where she is 4 of 6 on the campaign. Busy week for Chatard. They will host University here on Thursday. Then they will play another boys-girls doubleheader in the Triple C League, Circle City Conference. They'll take on Covenant Christian. Covenant Christian will actually switch leagues next year to play in the ICC. 30-second timeout taken by Coach Gatlin and Northwestern. We will keep it right here. Chatard, though, has built a 14-4 lead. Again, the Circle City Conference, which Chatard is a part of. Roncalli, Brebeuf, Chatard, Guerin Catholic, Heritage Christian, and Covenant Christian. Those are all league opponents with the exception of football. The smaller two schools do not do not play football in the league just because of the kind of competitive differences that you see from Roncalli or Chatard.
Well, at this point, Chatard is 1-0 in their conference, although they're 4-3 overall. But I would look for them to play very well in that conference.
As you can tell, Coach, trying to light a fire under her team after first 6+ minutes of this quarter.
Well, Chatard was stuck on 6. Quinn Johnson came in the game, has lit a little bit of fire under the Chatard defensive intensity. A couple steals, just knocked down a couple of free throws. As I mentioned earlier, drew a couple of blocks. So she has really done a nice job for the Trojans.
Chatard not picking up full court press here. They'll drop back into a 1-3-1 in terms of their half court trap. Ball poked away again. Duncan on the drive, scores it. And the shot chart has largely been in the paint. Couple of jump shots for Chatard, but everything that's been successful has been at the rim.
But just look at the link there on the Chatard defense.
Trap here by Chatard. That was Tessa Davenport that is in the game now. Shot taken and missed. Davenport able to save it and save it off of Mary Mason. So it'll stay here to Northwestern. So Davenport getting minutes in the opening quarter. She played in the junior varsity game that preceded this one. Mason shoots the gap, gets the steal, and scores again. Mason's first bucket. Mason averages less than a point a game. Again, her favorite sport is played in the spring. Lacrosse player.
Coach Wagner said she's a defensive stopper.
On the low block shot missed. Second opportunity for Northwestern does not go. Good hustle by the Tigers. That was Savannah Lipinski, Jr. that couldn't get that to go. There's a jump shot that goes. A long two by Duncan. And it is now 14 straight points for Chatard. Trojans have a 16-point lead, and that will be the end of quarter number 1. Well, even with a 3-minute dry spell for the Trojans, they have a 16-point lead after the opening stanza. We're back in 60 seconds as you're watching high school girls basketball here on the ISC Sports Network. I want to thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Rob Lynch, Jason Porter, Buzz Alcaron. Thanks to Jordan Shue, Vince Morales, and Dennis Glover. Home game for yours truly. I could have walked here. I didn't, but I could have. Greg Regstrom, Bob Meslin with you here on this Monday night. Thanks to the folks in Bishop Chatard High School for having our ISC cameras here for the first time inside the gymnasium. I've actually been here for soccer before at Chatard High School. On the drive, and that's an easy look for Kendall. Kendall becomes the 7th different Chatard player in the scoring column for the Trojans.
That was a nice baseline screen by Anna Kasky. they ran a very good out-of-bounds play from half court.
Almost a turnover. Almost. Well, before I could finish the thought, it was a turnover going in both directions. And I have that as Chatard's first giveaway.
But most of Chatard's turnovers have been dead ball turnovers, which as a coach, you don't like turnovers, but you'd rather see them dead ball.
Sure. Davenport able to track that one down for Northwestern. And that'll be a reach-in foul against Kendall.
Well, Greg, as we mentioned earlier, you look on every pass, as we talked about in the opening, Chatard is looking to trap and steal. They're playing passing lanes, they're overplaying, and they are trying to get the basketball and run, and they have athletes that can go down and finish.
Naomi Moses is in. She played in the JV game earlier. And that'll be a foul, I think, on the floor against Burzai with a kind of a forearm shiver in the back. The second foul of the quarter against Chatard. Again, we do this as a public service announcement. Fouls reset at the end of every quarter. Catch on the inbounds pass. Good-looking shot that would not go. That was Ray that missed it. Duncan the rebound. Burzai to step through, a little bit too strong. Put back attempt, no. Second time, yes. So Kendall averages 6 rebounds a game. Burzai 5.5. Caskey 11. Chatard's controlled the glass. They've controlled this game, and it's a 20-point lead for Chatard. This 3 slung at the rim does not go, and that's off the hands of the Tigers. 3 was taken and missed by Haley Cutter.
You know, it's kind of like we're at a track meet, the way Coach Wagner is shuttling people in and out. They almost need a baton to hand off.
And a timeout going to be taken by Bishop Chatard. I would assume this is a 30-second timeout. But again, frankly, you know, you're doing that to get as many players minutes as possible. Again, let's acknowledge you're going to play 3 times in the next 5 days, so this is a good chance to kind of keep everybody rested from the Chatard standpoint.
Well, with those girls coming off injury and having lost a couple top scorers last year, I'm sure he's trying to develop chemistry and see which 5 work best together. Sometimes it's not the best 5 players because everybody is asked to do a role. Sometimes it is the best 5 players, but he seems to be putting the right pieces in the puzzle tonight.
Well, it really impresses me, and frankly, if you are Chatard, you don't frankly have to go outside of Marion County to play a great schedule. But yet they do. They've already played Scottsburg. They played Gibson Southern. They're literally kind of crossing the state to play the best teams they possibly can and be as tournament ready as possible. 3-quarter court trap by Northwestern. Chatard breaks it. Long 3 does not go. And the rebound corralled by Northwestern. Hale runs the floor, and Hale takes a bump from McAllister. And 2 free throws coming up for Lexi Hale.
Chatard is not afraid of physicality.
No.
On either end of the court. They'll run people in this stage all night.
Normally we say that about the basketball team, given this football success, with the Trojans being a couple of weeks removed from winning a 17th state championship in school history. And Hale connects to the line.
Well, she's their leading rebounder, a little over 8 per game, and second leading scorer, about almost 8 points per game. But she runs the court very well, as evidence on that last transition.
And makes both free throws.
And they have her at the top of the press.
First points of the quarter for the Tigers. And good job on the back pressure that time by Bisher to get a hand of the passing lane.
Chatard did a great job. They went down the sideline, got to the middle, filled the lanes, and almost had a layup.
Catch and shoot 3 from the corner, no. And the rebound to Ray for Northwestern. Berkeley Ray, a junior, 7.5 points and 6.5 rebounds a game. Northwestern part of the Hoosier Conference, although their alignment's going to be changing here in the near future. As seemingly everybody's leagues are changing around Indiana high school basketball. Good cut to the basket Basket does not go, but follow-up also no good, and then eventually tipped up towards the stage, out of bounds to Chatard.
Very nice cut by that young lady. We've had a lot of missed layups on both sides tonight.
Northwestern's wins Tipton. Giveaway here by Chatard. The step through scoop and score. Give the bucket to Bishop.
Very nice little step through Euro move.
Just the second Northwestern field goal of the game. 2 made field goals, 4 made free throws. Hale, good job to dig in there and ties up the Chatard player and forces a Trojan turnover. Northwestern beat Tipton and Wabash so far this year, and Tipton's kind of in the same boat as Northwestern, while not being a state championship level team recently. They were just in the 2A state finals a couple of years ago. They are very young this year.
Hale, who's the only senior on this roster, has done a nice job of getting these girls to fight back. You can tell she's had a little bit more experience.
Gray's 3 from the corner does not go. Good glass, though, by Northwestern. Putback does not go, and Kendall with the rebound. The Chatard team has significant size at 6 foot and 6'1", and a made 3, first of the game for Addison Duncan. Again, Chatard as a team makes just shy of 5 threes a game. But there's that link paying off on the trap, even though there is a layup. And while it was clean up top, Bisher did get knocked to the ground. Kendall commits the foul her second, and Bisher will shoot 2 free throws.
Yeah, they go for shot blocking every time inside. Sometimes they get fouls, and sometimes they get a defensive rebound and get out and go.
Northwestern backs their entire team off the line as Bisher misses. Johnson will check back in for Chatard. Kendall sits with 2 fouls. After the games on Thursday and Friday, Chatard will be off for 12 days. They are playing in what's a really good tournament. Twin Lakes has a great holiday tournament that Chatard will be a part of. They'll head to Monticello on the 27th to 28th. They'll get 3 games there. McCutcheon, which is going to be a factor in future years in 4A because of some very talented young players they have, will be the first opponent for Chatard. Burzai ties up Hale. Arrow points to Chatard.
They've run a couple of nice baseline out of bounds plays here. Let's see what happens.
Burzai on the dive. Burzai only has 1 bucket. She's had several close looks. Can't buy one tonight. But if your leading scorer has an off night, tonight may be a good night to have that. Foul against Chatard, which will be the 15th foul, so 2-shot bonus coming up here for Northwestern. It'll be Mason that picks up the foul. So Bisher will shoot 2.
Well, to show you how physical Chatard is playing, they have 5 fouls already in the quarter, and the quarter's not half over.
I do not think that will be a detriment to them. I think they have 1 speed. So for Northwestern, Macy Rohde will come on as they go a little bit deeper into their bench. Bisher makes them both. Rohde, a sophomore. Bisher's got 7 of the Northwestern 11. They're on a little 7-3 spurt right now. Johnson weaving through traffic. I think they're going to say that's on the floor and before the shot, I believe. Underneath, out of bounds. Coming up here to Bishop Chatard. And Johnson traveled. Yep. Just got going a little too quickly forward there on the catch. Anna Dixon into the game here for Chatard. Playing on the bottom of that 1-3-1 zone. She played in the junior varsity game earlier as well. Good trap there, but Trageser ran out of real estate. That was almost a 4-defender trap. Half-court line, sideline, and 2 defenders.
Yeah, Northwestern needs to bring somebody up in the middle. And the obvious candidate would be Lexi Hale because of her height, and she can see and turn face and find her teammates.
Speaking of Hale, catch, turn, and score. Hitting in Northwestern, still battling. Berzai got that one to go. Physics her friend as that one rolls in.
Yeah, she'd missed some easy ones earlier. She was getting a little frustrated, so it was nice for her to see that one roll over the rim.
Berzai and Hale are getting into hand-to-hand combat at the elbow. And Berzai whistled for the foul. It'll be her second. Hale will shoot two. Hale misses that one. Came in at 57% from the free throw line on the season. And makes one of two.
Well, Northwestern's free throws are hanging them around.
All their points have come from two players so far. Caskey back in there. Couldn't get it to go. Good crash by McAllister. McAllister, a junior that averages a point and 3 rebounds a game. Ray will come back in, giving Hale a respite.
I would see Chatard going on a little bit of a run here with Hale out. Hale's been the stabilizing factor under the boards and at midcourt, but we'll see what happens.
This Northwestern team will next be in action on Thursday when they take on county rival Eastern, the Comets of Greentown. Next week they will play a team that you saw a few weeks ago. They'll play at Carroll of Flora, a team that thinks they can do a little damage in 2A this year. Good job to track that one down. You want to rock, paper, scissors as we puts the headsets down to go get that next time?
You know, I didn't have my gym shoes on, but I was ready.
You got to remember you are tethered. So if you're going to do that, you got to put the headsets down. Buzz, you can get on that too if you'd like to. We'll alternate who goes and gets that extra loose chain. Half-court trap. Dixon fires the baseline. Couldn't get it to go, but went right to Caskey.
I tell you what, Chatard sends 2 and 3 young ladies to the offensive glass every time.
Well, clearly, Bob, they know what they do well. They're a team that has good athleticism, really good length and height, and they play to their strengths.
Well, Hale's rest was very short-lived.
Fisher's shot does not go. Caskey collects another board. She averages 11. If she has the requisite minutes, she'll get there tonight. Won't get a board that time because Trageser got the bucket. And she is the leading scorer, which is a story for Chatard, because normally she is their 6th leading scorer. Hale, no. McAllister, the rebound. And it's back to a 19-point lead. The largest was 20.
You know, Chatard kind of relies on a couple girls to get the defensive board. They send the other 3 down, and when you used to play in the backyard and the Y, they call that cherry picking, but they're getting some open layups.
Ball tipped, and you going to go get it?
I think these young ladies.
Buzz is on it. And a timeout taken by Chatard. Another 30-second timeout. We'll keep our in and get a good look at our vantage point from up on the stage tonight. So 33-14, Chatard leading Northwestern. Greg Rakestraw, Bob Maslin with you just before halftime here on the ISC Sports Network. It is a very busy week for us on ISC. Tomorrow night we'll be over at Lawrence Central, as well as on My Indy TV 23 as well. Crispus Attucks will take on Lawrence Central. More girls basketball for you on Thursday. I referenced the fact I get to have a couple of home games this week. This is one in terms of the proximity to my domicile for the last 20 years. Well, my heart belongs in Southern Indiana, and I get to do one Lanesville game every year during the regular season. So on Thursday night, 11-0, 1A defending champs Lanesville against 11-1 Crawford County. That is our game on Thursday night. Jan Bozier joins me for that one. Then on both Friday and Saturday, we are at the Eric Clark Activity Center. Carmel hosting Northwestern on Friday, hosting North Central on Friday, then hosting Kokomo on Saturday. You'll see both those games on My Indy TV 23 as well. Just her average week on the ISC Sports Network. Johnson rips it away. Trageser weaving through traffic, no. But Caskey runs the floor, got fouled, and Anna Caskey will shoot 2.
I'm very impressed by Anna Caskey on both
Yeah.
boards, both the offensive glass and defensive boards. And then that time she got out. And when you have big people run like that, they get rewarded with either their teammates find them for layups or they get putbacks.
I'm not sure if the softball coach would like Anna to play basketball at Belmont, but I think I might, if I'm the basketball coach, just say, hey, we might want to use you for practice and a depth piece on the Belmont basketball team.
Well, I'm guessing with her being a sophomore, she might grow a couple more inches.
Caskey makes 1 of 2, her first made free throw of the game. And the largest lead now matched at 20. Another turnover committed by Northwestern, unofficially their 13th. 3, Johnson, no. McAllister able to track it down. Hale hustles back to get the takeaway for the Tigers. Northwestern's down a little deeper. Tessa Ortman in the game. Bella Newell, who also played in the junior varsity game, in there too. Reference Anna heading to Belmont. Of course, Belmont now gets to play a few more games in the Hoosier State, being a part of the Missouri Valley Conference. She'll have road trips to Valparaiso, Indiana State, and Evansville over the years. That'll make mom and dad very happy. Hale just lost the handle, some contact there, but not enough to draw the whistle.
Yeah, I would think of putting Hale down in the low block and see if her teammates can get her the basketball, because that young lady has a really good presence out there.
Naomi Moses draws the foul. Just the 3rd team foul against Northwestern. No free throws just yet. Again, Northwestern, 156 wins the last 7 years. Last losing season was 12 years ago. And to their credit, their schedule hasn't changed from what they had kind of built up over the last few years. So, for example, in the Sagarin ratings, of their 8 losses, 5 have been to teams in the top 64 in the state. Caskey scored. For what it's worth, Chatard is just outside of that group. They were 82nd in the Sagarin ratings coming in. That's out of 410-plus teams that play basketball in the state of Indiana. And a 10-second violation against the Tigers.
Well, you notice the difference against that press with Hale out.
Certainly.
Hale was a big target in the middle. She got it, turned, looked, found her teammates, and Northwestern looked a bit lost on that possession. But Hale just picked up her 3rd foul.
Good hands. That's Cutter. Clock is on your screen. Closing seconds of the half. Obviously, Chatard's been in control of this one since the jump. Chatard turnover. Northwestern turnover at 2. At 1, didn't recognize it in time, and that is the end of the half. But lots to build on from a positive standpoint for Coach Wagner's Bishop Chatard Trojans. They lead by 22. Halftime show comes right next as you're watching girls high school basketball right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim!
6 of them.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Brady. Hello. Did it again. Hello. Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow. This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Back inside the cozy confines of the Bishop Chatard Gymnasium. Literally, we are just south of Kessler Boulevard. Obviously, a Broad Ripple landmark. When you think of Chatard, clearly, you think of the football program and their tremendous success. The girls basketball team has been really good for a long time. Again, they have made the semi-state round or greater 5 times in the last 15 years. They lead Northwestern 36-14. Again, this is not the Northwestern of years gone by, a rebuilding year for a new coach. And Wendy Gatlin, Greg Rakestraw, Bob Meslin with you. This one kind of going how we thought it would. Just overall impressions as to what you've seen in half number 1.
Well, we talked at the outset about transition, turnover, and teamwork. Unfortunately, between these two teams, they average 40 turnovers a game. I'm guessing we're well on our way to that number tonight. I don't have the exact number. Transition points, Chatard has gotten a lot of fast breaks, but Greg, I think the biggest difference has been the physicality. Chatard is much seem to be quicker. They're much stronger. They're playing with an intensity on both ends of the court that Northwestern has not been able to match. But you saw in the second quarter, Northwestern was at the foul line halfway through the quarter with Chatard, but Chatard's run in 8-9 players, so players have fouls to give. But I think the physicality is been the biggest difference in tonight's ball game.
Scoring in the first half for Chatard, Anna Caskey with 9, Betsy Tragesser with 8, Addison Duncan with 7. 4 each for Olivia Berzai and Alex Kendall, 2 apiece for Quinn Johnson and Mary Mason. Naomi Moses, Annie McAllister, and Anna Dixon all played but did not score. For Northwestern, all their points have come from, frankly, their 2 most experienced players. Anna Bisher with 7, Lexi Hale with 7, and most of those points have come from the free throw line. For Northwestern, just 3 made field goals here in the opening stanza. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with first half highlights. Again, it's Bishop Chatard in control against Northwestern. 36-14 is the score at the break. We're back in a moment as you're watching Bishop Chatard girls basketball here on the ISC Sports Network. Throws the deep ball. He's got a man. Catch made. Rolling. Has a man. First down, the grab by Cyrus. Billingsley keeps. Billingsley spins away from the tackle. Still going. Touchdown, Snyder. Quick look at our first half highlights while these fly by. Let's kind of talk about the perspective, Bob, of both coaches. If you're Dan Wagner, what's your message to your ladies at halftime?
You know, I just keep playing with the intensity and the physicality that you're doing. They're getting transition baskets. They've missed a lot of layups, but you know what? They've taken a lot of layups, and they're scoring inside. I think they maybe hit 1 or 2 threes, but based on percentages of the season this far, Greg, their game is not threes. Their game is going inside. Anna Caskey has done a great job on both ends of the floor on the backboards, and I'm guessing if she plays much more, she's going to have another double-double.
Big picture for Chatard. Again, you've got 2 games Thursday, Friday. Then you've got 12 days. And obviously, you're going to take some downtime for the Christmas holiday. But it's kind of a rare full week of practice that Coach Wagner has potentially next week. What are you working on in that last bit of downtime during your season?
Well, first of all, it's very rare to get that many days
Right.
off in the middle of the season because practice time is so valuable. But I'm guessing he's going to look at these last few games and say, okay, what are we doing well? What can we do better? And do we have the right kids playing at the right time? And you notice tonight he's run a lot of kids in and out. Obviously, it's a 22-point ball game, so you have that luxury. But during the holidays and this stretch this is when you're gearing up for February. This is when you're gearing up for your state tournament. And obviously they're looking ahead, find out who's in their sectional, who they might come across during their tournament run. But he'll be looking at some specific individuals, say, hey, can we get a few minutes out of so-and-so? Can we get this out of such and such? And how are we doing? Are we rebounding? Are we blocking out? But first of all, if I'm Coach Wagner, girls, we have to take care of the basketball. We're not going to play teams of this caliber throughout the tournament. And if we don't value the basketball, our season's going to be short-lived come when they do the ping pong balls.
And if you're Wendy Gatlin, obviously you've kind of been in this spot before. The offense has struggled in their 8 losses. They have scored 33 points or less. How do you try to change it? You're not going to maybe change it tonight, but how do you not kind of lose your team when you're having that halftime speech in this scenario?
You know what? You got to get the kids to keep battling. They're young. They're inexperienced. I would lean on my senior, Lexi Hale. She has done a phenomenal job in the first half. Obviously, their team's been outmanned, but I would lean on the senior leadership and have her pull the young freshmen, sophomore, and juniors along. She's the only senior, so she's the only one going to be left leaving the program. So Coach Gatlin's got to make sure the girls engage. They don't get frustrated. They don't chat with their parents, their grandparents, and their trainers. And hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. It should be one voice. It should be her voice. But first year, hopefully she sets the tone and the girls follow her.
We'll take a quick timeout. Third quarter action comes your way next. Northwestern will have the basketball. Chatard has a 22-point lead as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network. McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
Ah,
good.
there you
oh,
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler! Whoa!
Okay, let's thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Buzz Alcaron. Thanks to Jason Porter on short notice joining us tonight. Thanks to Rob Lynch, Dennis Glover, as well as Vince Morales, Jordan Shue for his technical assistance early in the day, alongside Bobby Meslem, Greg Rakestraw with you here on the ISC Sports Network. And once again, thank you to Chatard for inviting us here to be a part of this game tonight. Love the fact we can pick up some basketball here locally on a Monday night. Trojans lead it by 22. Bishop, joined by Newell, Hale. 5-out offense here for Northwestern, which leaves room for Hale to get going, and nice set play out of the break by Northwestern. One-2-2 zone here by Northwestern. Trageser for 3, got it, good look. And Trageser, again, she does a little bit of everything for this team. 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds, but 11 points for Trageser.
Yeah, Coach Wagner is really high on her, especially just being a sophomore.
Again, this is a young team. Johnson a senior, Duncan a senior, Mason a senior, of kind of the top 9 of the rotation for Chatard. Good inside out. That's a long two. That's a good shot. You'll take it every time down. That's Newell that couldn't make it.
Yeah, good things happen when Hale touches the basketball.
Good basket cut. Lets a defender fly by. A miss by Kendall. She got fouled, I think, on the floor. That'll be against Berkeley Ray.
I'm looking for Caskey to get some kind of layup here on this out of bounds play.
She sets the screen instead. Burzai misses. And Ortman out of there with the board. It is Cutter that will start this half on the bench for Northwestern as Newell in to replace her. 3 in the corner by Ray. Got it. Rattles it home. Her first points, and she becomes just the third Northwestern player to score in tonight's game. It's their first made 3. Again, they average less than 2 made 3s a game to the Tigers. And Caskey, not deterred by Newell grabbing her arm.
Now the Northwestern's come out in his own the second half, and it's stymied Chatard a little bit. The girl got an inside out, open look for 3 and nailed it.
Ray will face guard the inbounder directly in front of us. Kendall. Caskey goes and gets it and scores. Caskey with 11, and she averages 10 points and 11 boards a game. Caskey, a 52% free throw shooter. Jump ball will be a turnover by Northwestern as the arrow points to Chatard. Want to say a special hello to the Berry family that is watching today's game. Joining us, I think, via YouTube, enjoying the broadcast tonight. Burzai turns and off the window, scores it. Burzai with 6.
Well, the last couple times down the court, Chatard's gone to the middle against that zone. They've got a open look on the 3, and then they got a nice little mid-range bank shot.
Over and back violation. And the turnovers continue to pile up for Northwestern. And it should be a more competitive game when they take on Eastern coming up on Thursday. And more local rivals in terms of both Carroll and then Kokomo. Next week before the Christmas holiday. Kendall's 3, no. Fisher. And held ball will be called. And the arrow points the opposite direction. By the way, the sportsmanship tonight has been tremendous. You have seen opposing players help the other one up immediately. Cutter now returns for Northwestern. And the IHSAA has been using the hashtag Face of Sportsmanship campaign now for the last several years, and I see it amongst the kids. Still always need a little bit more from the fans, but the kids have been great about picking it up.
Usually the kids are better than the fans.
And we've said that for a long time. Trageser did a good job of getting in there. Good weak side effort. Again, that will also be a jump ball, which goes right back here. Hale and Caskey get tied up.
I'll tell you, when the ball is under the basket, Caskey is around it. Either one hand, 2 hands, or tipping it to a teammate.
So I looked in the crowd to make sure that Dad had stopped taking tickets to be able to watch Anna play in today's game. He's up in the stands now. Bucket by Kendall. She's got 6. Great balance as the 5 starters all have at least 6 points for Chatard. Lead now grows to 26 and another turnover. Good feed
Great
to
pass.
Burzai. Yep, lay it up and in. So Burzai with 8. Full timeout. Northwestern will step aside. Midway through the third quarter, Chatard's lead has expanded to 28. You'll see the dish from Trageser. Burzai the bucket. Back in 60 on ISC. Chatard in control of this one. That has been the case since the first quarter. Scored the first 6 points, led by 20 at the end of the first quarter. Lead has now grown to 28. And Northwestern won this one handily last year. Chatard going to reverse the favor this time around. And again, for Northwestern, there's probably going to be a few games like that. Just a different team. Ray lines with 3. That does not go. Trageser, great feed.
Great hustle.
I was going to get it. I was going to let you do play-by-play for a few seconds. You got those stats and facts ready to go so I can go track. I don't feel like a bum and not going to get this?
That's not my contract. That's not my contract.
I tell you what, next time we're going to do a game here, I'm going to bring like a big, like a net. You would see like the fans are like Giants baseball games.
Yeah.
I'll do that to try to track it down. Block-to-block pass, and Caskey was fouled. If that's on Hale, that's her 4th. Caskey will shoot 2. But again, Burzai 5'11", Caskey 6 foot, and Kendall 6'1". You don't have that at many levels of basketball, let alone 3A. Good looking free throw by Anna.
She has a little bit of relief on her face there because she does not look very comfortable at the free throw line.
39%.
And as well as she plays inside, if she could up that 15, 20%, she would be a big-time player.
Burzai the rebound and got fouled by Lipinski. Just checked back in. So now Burzai, who is 12 of 18 from the free throw line on the season.
You notice when Hale goes out, they get offensive rebounds.
Yeah. And again, that's part of what Chatard knows they've got to work on as the season goes along. And as a team, 52% from the stripe. Got that to go.
So there's been a little bit of discussion with the new rule and the 5 free throws. Does it help the good free throw shooting teams or does it help the bad free throw shooting teams? If you shoot a lot of free throws, that's great. But, you know, the bad teams, now they don't have to hit the 1-on-1. They get 2 automatically. So there's a lot less pressure on that first free throw.
Well, again, I'm lucky enough to get to do a good amount of women's college basketball, and I have seen the benefits of the rule change and really the timing change in terms of the women's game. Frankly, it is now a quicker played game than the men's game is. I'm not against the rule in high school. I'm not sure it's going to have a big impact on high school. Kendall gets the bucket. Kendall's got 8. 5 players between 7 and 12 points for Chatard, which is kind of their MO. And they're a very balanced group. They have 6 players that average 5 points or more a game.
Well, at the outset, we talked about teamwork, and it looks like they picked up a few more assists tonight than they averaged throughout the season.
Average a little more than 11 a game. And part of that is simply the rim gets a lot of assists because they're a great rebounding team. Sometimes the rim can play great defense. Other times the rim can give you some pretty good assists. Caskey and Kendall and Duncan leave, and maybe we see them again, maybe not. Ray catches, turns, left it short. Shot may have been altered. Johnson.
Nice save by Johnson.
It was Mason that got that one, and then the shot left short.
Quinn Johnson has not seen a shot she doesn't like tonight.
Anna Eller in there for the first time for Northwestern. Eller, a 5'9" sophomore, a little less than a point a game. Trageser got the steal. And if that foul is on Northwestern, it is. Cutter. And you'll see 2 free throws for Trageser.
So we have just the opposite of what happened in the first half. Now, Northwestern has 5 fouls and Chatard has 0 fouls.
Trageser 0 for 1 from the line tonight. Makes that one. Now 5 of 14 from the stripe this season. And her reward for making the second free throw will be to exit the game. Naomi Moses about to enter. Have to wait a little bit. That one was pulled a little wide left. Burzai the rebound, takes it all the way in and scores it. She becomes the 3rd Trojan in double figures, and that will signal the running clock for the rest of the game. With 2:35 to go. 35-point trigger, second half, and clock only stops for timeout, substitutions. Trageser gets the bucket. She's got 14. This is the third year that rule has been in place. And we thought we might get to that point tonight. That'll be a reach-in foul.
So you asked earlier, I guess at halftime, what I would do as a coach on that 12-day break.
Yep.
I would shoot a lot of free throws. And seriously, I would shoot a lot of free throws in different situations. I would play free throw games. I would play free throw contests. I would do different situations. But to get these girls comfortable with shooting free throws, because not a lot of the Chatard girls look comfortable with shooting free throws.
Great entry pass. Ray missed it, then foul against McAllister. And so Berkeley Ray will shoot two. Ray on the season, a little more than 50% from the line. There may be some knowledge on learning the Virgil Sweet method. God rest the former Valparaiso coach who passed away at the age of 96. But his free throw method was taught for many years after he stopped being the head coach at Valparaiso High School. Ray makes one of two. Johnson, shot blocked. No need to track that one down. Ball out of bounds. It'll be Chatard basketball. Clock, as you can see on the screen, continues to roll. Good takeaway by Northwestern. Lipinski and Cutter combined on that one. Well, Chatard will bump their record to 5-3 tonight. Hand check foul called against Johnson. And again, no free throws coming up, so the clock will continue to roll.
Well, to Northwestern's credit and Coach Gatlin, those girls are still continuing to play hard.
Yep.
They're running up down the court, they're defending, and they're still trying to get some good shots.
It's a long season. And your hope is that you're a better team in January than you are in November and December. You hear the phrase education-based athletics a lot. And there are some lessons to be learned in continuing to persevere in this situation as well. Obviously, there are different lessons than what Northwestern's been accustomed to in basketball over the course of those last 7 years, where they have averaged over 22 wins a season. You hear the countdown. Johnson got it off in time and got it to go. It's a 2. Foot was on the line. It is a good bucket, and the route is on. Chatard led by 22 at the break. They lead by 38 now. Fourth quarter comes your way next as you're watching on ISC. McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you
oh,
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa!
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left.
Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it.
That's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one.
Out of here.
Well, we talked about this young lady seeing a lot of shots tonight, whether it's inside or outside, but you know, she had the wherewithal to put it up, and fortunately went in for her to give them a 38-point lead. But you talked about learning lessons. Over the past few years, Northwestern has given a lot of schools basketball lessons.
Yes, they have.
Hopefully they took good notes.
Hand check foul going to be called. First foul of the quarter. And Chatard has a largely JV lineup out there now. Megan Todd, Anna Dixon, Eva Dessauer, Mary Mason, and Annie McAllister. And normally it's a not actually, that is Lily Braun that is out there. So really only Mason of their regular rotation is seeing minutes currently. And Northwestern last year 17-5. That was their first year back since 2019 in 3A.
I believe Coach Layton had one of her youngest daughter play for her last year.
McKenna, correct.
Which makes a big difference because currently the young lady's playing at Purdue.
Well, the thing is, not only did Kathy coach the girls basketball team, she coached the volleyball and tennis programs as well. Coached all three sports. Kathy played at the University of Evansville, where her husband Jeff played there as well at the same time, 94 through 98. Jeff, of course, a Lawrence North Wildcat. On the low block, shot does not go. Taken and missed by Braun. Hale's runner, and I hope she's all right. That was a heck of a fall, but she pops right back up. And Hale will shoot two.
So a quick story, we're playing Northwestern in our summer league game a few years ago at Ball State team camp. And you know, you mentioned her husband played for Lawrence North. They're running a play, and one of our assistant coaches is up calling the play, and he stood up, and everybody just started laughing because it was an old Lawrence North boys play. And Kathy and her crew at Northwestern were running, and they kicked our tails that day.
Jeff has his, well, it's not on the wall currently, but won the after the paint job is done on the Jack Keefer Gymnasium, and those jerseys go back up. His number will go back up as a former Indiana All-Star. Here's Dixon. Trapped by Ray. It'll be out of bounds to Chatard. And again, I referenced earlier, for those who don't know, my partner was a longtime assistant coach in many sports at Lawrence North, but even helped the baseball program this past summer, or this past spring, I should say, but most known for his days with the basketball team, part of Chris Giffin's staff when the Wildcats won the girls 4A championship in 2020 after being the runners-up in 2019. That Northwestern LN 4A championship game was played at such an exceedingly high level. And that is, now I can track this one down. That one I can get.
All right, Greg, you got your first assist tonight.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a fun ball game.
I think a timeout's going to be taken by Chatard. Looks like this is going to be a full timeout, so let's step aside as well. 5:23 to play. Chatard obviously going to win this one. Some teaching moments for Coach Wagner and company. Back after this on ISC. Coach Gatlin still coaching her team hard. Shot was blocked by Hale twice. And then Hale got tangled up with Chatard player in Braun behind the play. Good basket cut, that's a foul. Foul that he called against Megan Todd, and free throws coming up for the Wildcats.
I'll tell you what, I'm very impressed with this young lady, Lexi Hale. She has done a phenomenal job to be down almost 40 points and still playing as hard as she is, but you need that type of senior leadership.
So Cutter gets her first point of the game. She had missed two earlier free throws. Makes one of two. Now 1 of 4 from the line again. A lot of the scoring from the Tigers has come from the stripe tonight. Northwestern going to start to empty their bench a little bit now. And they'll play again in 3 days against the Comets of Eastern of Greentown. Good take to the basket there and give the bucket. That's Megan Todd. Her first points of the game. She becomes the 8th different Trojan to score. And that'll be a foul against Chatard. 4th team foul. So no free throws yet. By the way, 13 in uniform for Chatard tonight. Johnson will come back in. Mason will have a seat. And now it's really a rematch of the JV game in different uniforms at this point.
Well, somebody hopefully gets their first varsity basket tonight.
Eller, shot blocked. By the way, Chatard won the JV game in a similar fashion. Dixon, ball eventually makes its way to a teammate, and Dessauer gets the bucket to go. And the lead now to 40. Well, again, this has been a bit of a common refrain for Northwestern this year, unfortunately. Just kind of knew a reset was coming after a heck of a run the last 7 years. And that'll be steps called.
And these young ladies are playing varsity, most of them JV. And you know what? There's a little different speed, even though it's all JV out here. There's more people in the stands.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
more higher expectations. And for some of these girls, this could be the first time they've been on the varsity basketball court.
And that's traveling against Chatard. I'll make a reference the players won't get, but you and I will. It's like changing the speed of the record from 45 to 78. McAllister will come on. Dessauer will have a seat. This is Newell. And a 5-second call will be made. And again, the challenge for Northwestern is, again, you just don't want to lose your team. You got to find a way to kind of to keep this fun. Losing is not fun. This score is not fun. And it's the challenge that Coach Gatlin faces going forward. Johnson gets the roll. Johnson with 6. And leading scorer, Trageser for Chatard with 14. One of 3 players in double figures. 9 players have scored for Bishop Chatard.
So, Coach Wagner must see something in Johnson from a strategic standpoint, because he mentioned that he thought, you know, she could start for his team as well as some other teams. But if you've noticed, when she's been in the game, especially in the first half, she provided a spark off the bench, both offensively and defensively.
I think part of it you have to think, because we have 2 free throws, so the clock gets stopped with 1:47 left to go in the game, as Newell will shoot 2. Part of it is having a senior that comes off the bench that kind of has been there and done that. But you and I both know that you always want to make sure you have one person on the bench that feels confident in whatever shot they're taking. I think that's the role she plays for this team.
Well, it gives them a lot of experience coming off the bench.
So Newell connects. She's the 5th different Northwestern player to score. Johnson, speaking of offensive confidence, McAllister is fouled, and McAllister will shoot 2. And McAllister will be taking her first 2 free throws of the season.
So with Johnson, a senior coming off the bench, it bodes well for the other young ladies that are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. If they see a senior coming off the bench, they're like, it's okay to come off the bench. Some programs, everybody's got to start. There's a story that happened a couple years ago when the coach sent out all 12 players for the starting lineup. The referee goes, we only need 5. And he goes, yeah, but they all think they're starters. Just ask their parents in the stands. So he got technicals, and he pulled them all off.
McAllister makes them both.
Sadly, that's a true story.
Yeah. Moses, Dixon, Braun, the 3 Chatard players that have yet to score in tonight's game. And a foul going to be called. 2 free throws coming up. Izzy Eric, a freshman, will shoot a couple of free throws. She's made a couple so far on the year. Northwestern will make the drive back towards Kokomo following the conclusion of this one. So Dessauer will come back in. And the rebound controlled by Megan Todd. Chatard plays University on Thursday night. Good take, better block by Northwestern. Then a jump ball will be called, and the arrow will keep it right here. We now have less than a minute to go in this one. Our post-game thoughts will be brief, given the fact that this one obviously has long since been decided. Dixon, 3, misses everything. And another jump ball will point in the opposite direction. And Hale with 10 to pace Northwestern. Bisher with 7. 14 for Trageser, 12 for Caskey, 11 for Burzai, the double-figure scores to this juncture for Chatard. Good take to the basket. That was Lipinski that couldn't get it to go. Look ahead pass, and Dixon gets it to go.
By the way, the crowd's cheering. That might be her first varsity basket.
Diving effort. Dixon comes out of there with it. That's it, and that's all. And that is the conclusion of tonight's game.
Look at you.
Had to get the last one of the game, Coach. 68-24, Chatard wins it. Bob, your final thoughts on this one?
You know what? One team's pretty good and one team's not very good. Hopefully Northwestern continues to improve and Coach Gatlin can keep her team together, followed by the Lexi Hale, the senior, and Chatard. They're a good basketball team. They're very physical. They play very intense. And if I'm Coach Wagner, we're shooting free throws. We're shooting free throws, and then see where we go.
Back-to-back wins for the Trojans, now 5-3 on the season. Northwestern falls to 2-9 on the campaign. Bobby Meslin and the rest of our entire ISC Sports Network crew. This is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for spending part of your Monday evening with us. Trojans win and win big on the ISC Sports Network.